Okay guys, I have something really cool for you today that I found on Steam that I didn't even know existed on Steam. Didn't even know it was on the PS4. Honestly, it's been kind of hard to write this up because I had a hard time putting down the game. This is DariusBurst Chronicle Saviours. Now, my first experience with this was in my local arcade. Not this exact one, but one in the line of the series. And I was pretty well hooked immediately. There were multiple screens, the controls were tight, the boss fights were frantic and crazy and just over the top. It just sucked me right in. However, I really couldn't spend a lot of time on it given how much it costs per continue. It's a pretty big cabinet and kind of charged a premium as a result. So I was more than happy to pay the sale price of $20, which this is still running for $20 as of tonight, to pick this little gem up. This is at its core a bullet hell shooter, and a top-notch one at that. Everything is tightly balanced in this game. The controls, power-ups, and the bosses are all designed to give you a strong sense of empowerment without letting you feel safe at any given point. So let's go ahead and get into what makes this such a good shooter. First off, you get a choice of around 9 different ships that all feel vastly different in playstyle and approach, giving you a lot of options for replayability. Each stage also has branching paths, or zones as they're called, so that you can vary up even an easy run into different permutations to keep the gameplay fresh and new. Then there's the power-up system. This is actually pretty cool for like a shoot 'em up. Unlike most power-ups that you lose every time you die in a shoot 'em up and have to collect again, this one you keep most of them, with the exception of your armor. Armor in this game allows you to take extra hits before you die in the game, and you will die in this game, unless you're really, really good. Each hit to your armor will make a small chink sound and removes an armor marker indicated by the blue bar near the top of the stage. How you get more armor is the same way that you get other power-ups in the game, and that's by collecting various orbs during the course of gameplay. Now there are a couple different types of orbs that do various things for your fighter. One is the red orbs, and that ups your main weapon power. The green orbs give you a bomb or sub-weapon power. The blue one gives you shields. Silver will just give you extra points, and gold will do damage to all enemies on the screen. It will not necessarily kill enemies, but it will do damage, which gives you burst power. Now what your burst power is for is primarily for your super weapon, or your burst mode as they call it. This allows you to let loose a fierce blast that will cut through enemy waves, or you can remotely place one by hitting the button twice in quick succession, leaving a deployed turret that will attack enemies autonomously. Don't worry about using this so much. They recharge by shooting down enemy fire, killing enemies, etc. So that you're always kind of charging it after you've used it, which is great, as it feels more fair somehow, giving you a chance to salvage a life by quickly firing off a super weapon rather than just eating an immediate death. Now, let's talk about how long the game is. Honestly, it's fairly short, usually taking somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes per run to get all the way through. That's due in part because it's in free mode, which means you can just keep adding credits to play. I rather like the fact that it's free play because even though you're going to die, and likely die a lot, it never really feels too unfair or too cheap, mostly because you can just hit continue and keep going from where you're already at. These two things keep the player from getting too frustrated with the game, and allow them to keep playing and experiencing all that the game actually has to offer without feeling too fiercely punished for making any one mistake. And as you can see from the footage, it's really easy to make a mistake in this game and get killed. Now, the replayability is actually doubled down on by the fact that on top of the original mode with 3 levels of difficulty, all with branching paths, you have an EX mode that has 3 harder difficulties, also with multiple branching paths. If that wasn't enough for you, there's also a CS mode standing for Chronicle Saviour, which is solely a single player mode that was not even in the arcades at all. This mode gives you a series of stages with preset ships. Each stage that you clear gives you currency that you can use to unlock things like new ships, or just buy power-ups to help you with the next stage. There's also a ton of DLC that you can dive into this game, from more stages to guest ships and all kinds of stuff. You could basically spend a small fortune and just keep playing this game for ages with all the content that's out there. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is resolution support. Now, this is unique in this game because it was literally designed to be larger in life in the arcade, and it's absolutely no exception on PC. You have support for almost any resolution you could want, all the way up to 1340 by 1440 ultra wide on a single monitor. Or, You could use both monitors to display the game for an experience that comes much closer to the arcade. Let's take a look at some of this footage with it set up on like multiple screens. This game looks insane. It almost cries out to have a cabinet built just to put around it so that you could have it up and running all the time, just like an arcade cabinet of it. For my money, I think this game's worth at least the $20 that you pay for it during the sale. Now when it goes back up to $50, it depends on how much you're into bullet hell shooters and how much you really think you play the game. For myself, I went ahead and bought the rest of the DLC while it was on sale as well. That normally retails for somewhere around $90, and I managed to get it for right around $40. That comes with new stages and all sorts of new ships to try, as I'm finding the game's just more than entertaining enough that I want to keep coming back to it again and again, so having all the DLC seemed like kind of a steal for me. That alone should tell you how much fun I'm having with this game so far. So if you're into this kind of gameplay and you like what you're seeing on the screen and you're looking for a solid shoot 'em up bullet hell style shooter, I would honestly consider picking this up at least when it goes back on sale. Now, if you don't want to pay the $50 and you don't want to pay the high price for all the DLC, which who could blame you, what you might do is put it on your wish list and then wait till it to go on sale again down the Steam store. More than likely they're going to have a few more sales before the end of the year or early next year, and this will be on the list. So as long as you have it on your wish list, you'll be notified whenever it goes on sale, and then you can just snap it up for a song and spend hours and hours of blasting away huge space turtles or blowfish or whatever else they decide to throw at you. Right now, I'm going to go back and play it some more. I'm having a blast with it. So, till next time, happy gaming!